Hello, I'm Chris with Atlantic Drain and Gutter, and in this video we are going to be installing a new sump pit as well as a new sump pump. There was something like a sump pit in this basement already. It was about maybe a 2.5 gallon hole in the ground. There it is. And we're going to actually install a full-size sump pit. First thing you want to do there is scribe around your new sump pit about 5 inches or so beyond the diameter of the new sump pit. Then you want to use a concrete saw and cut the concrete. Be sure to wear masks and goggles. Try to keep the place well ventilated because it will get to your nose and lungs if you don't. We put a little bit of water here on the surface of the concrete just to help keep down some of that concrete dust that flies around. Your next step is to jackhammer the floor in the area of the sump pit installation. Remove all the concrete from the area. And the reason you want to cut out 4 inches beyond the diameter of your sump pit is because more than likely you have a footer right there along the walls that's going to be coming out about 4 inches or so. You can kind of see it there. There's a footer that goes all the way around the perimeter of the basement. Once you have dug the area for the pit, go ahead and sit that pit right in there into your hole that you dug and make sure that it's the proper depth. The sump pit should sit flush with the basement floor. Once your pit has been dug out to the proper depth, the next thing you need to do is check your perimeter drains. We've exposed the perimeter drains here that run around the perimeter of the basement floor, and we're going to be tying those into our new sump pit. Get a measurement from the top of the basement floor to the bottom of the perimeter drain pipe and transfer this to your sump pit. Cut out a 4-inch hole using a jigsaw for both perimeter drains. Cut plastic pipe extensions that will fit over your existing perimeter drain and install them as so they will discharge into your new sump pit. Once the perimeter drains are directed properly into the sump pit, you are ready to fill in around the sides of the sump pit. Here we are using some existing gravel as well as dirt that we've taken out of the area of the sump pit. Backfill around the sump pit carefully. Be sure that you move that soil all the way to the bottom of the sump pit. Fill the pit to, say 5 inches below grade, and then add a couple of inches of nice fresh gravel, and then we're ready to install our sump pump. This pump has an 1.5-inch threaded discharge, and we are inserting an 1.5-inch piece of pipe with a threaded insert into the sump pump. The next step is to install your check valve. Be sure the arrows on the check valve are pointing away from the sump pump. Now secure the clamps on the sump pump side of the check valve. Once you have that all nice and secure, go ahead and drop your new sump pump into your new sump pit. Okay, we're almost done. Your next step is to plumb the sump pump to or through the outside wall. Here we're using some existing pieces that we had cut from the old sump pump, and we secured that to the wall using a no-hub, and we have about a 6-inch gap here that we need to fill with pipe. Use a hacksaw. That's the best way to cut PVC Schedule 40 pipe. Once you have your extension piece seated into the sump pump check valve rubber boot, then you just tighten the clamps. To join your extension piece to the rest of your plumbing that's going to the outside wall, you have a choice. You can use 1.5-inch coupling and glue it in there, or you can do what we like to do most, and that's install a no-hub. It's an 1.5-inch rubber boot that has a clamp on each end, and you just secure that over the area that you're joining, and it works great, and it makes it very easy to change out the pump in the future. Now plug in the power to your sump pump to an outlet that's close to the sump pump piping. Here we're using tie wraps to dress up the power cord going up the pipe to the outlet. Just dressing it up a bit. Looks nice, and it takes the weight off of the power cord going up to the outlet. Using a jigsaw, now cut the sump pit lid, cutting a slot to accommodate the piping and the power cord from the sump pump. You can now easily install or remove the sump pit lid from the sump pit. Alright, well, now we're ready to concrete the area that we cut out with the jackhammer earlier. Here we're mixing some Quikrete, and it's a combination of Quikrete and mortar. About a 50-50 mix there. And we're going to, put a trowel to that, of course, and get it all smoothed out. And you're pretty much done. Make sure you pour at least a couple of inches of concrete in that area that you've cut out. In other words, you'd have gravel, at least 2 inches of area between the gravel and the top of your basement floor. Of course, if you have an extra bag, you can put down 3 inches of concrete, which is even better. Alright, I'm Chris with Atlantic Drain and Gutter, and you've been watching Sump Pit and Sump Pump installation right here on Atlantic Drain. And again, we appreciate you watching the videos, and just come back whenever you need to know how to for rainwater drainage. Thank you for watching.